you can live a life in flow where your deepest heart's desires become reality. At Set to Love, we offer strategies and ideas on how you can stay out of crazy town. See, your human experience is meant to be lived with meaning, purpose, and creativity. You are here to contribute through your essence. We are best friends, moms, entrepreneurs, and above all, find our flow in assisting you to find yours. We come together weekday mornings to bring you ideas to fall deeper in love with your life and the journey that you are on. Take what works and ditch the rest, and always stay set to love. Thank you for being a part of this community. We're all designed to live in flow. So let's go.
Good morning, everyone. Another morning of Set to Love. Wanted just to say we're so excited that you're here with us. Good morning to my best friend, Eva. We're going to have a discussion today about the fear of the unknown. And I think it's really appropriate right now.
Fear of the unknown.
Yep, there's so much going on, and we've heard from a lot of people that they're fearful about, just what our future looks like, and it feels like out of control and not in our hands. And so we thought we'd just have a little discussion about it this morning and give you some tips about being fearful. And, I think we'll just go with that. What do you think, Eva?
Well, one of the things I looked up, I found an article that I just loved. I mean, I was coming up with some of my own ideas, and then I was like, you know what, let's go see what other people think. And I think that's important, that we are not afraid to really be open to other people's ideas and suggestions, whatever they are in life. And so, of course, this was a great topic to say, how do others combat fear of the unknown? Like what are their suggestions and tips? And I found a really great article that was just published a couple days ago. 7 ways to overcome your fear of the unknown and get more out of life. Catherine Sanford. And so she has 7 tips. So I thought maybe we could kind of just sort of touch on some of these. And if anything else comes up, we'll see where it goes. But I thought this would be a great place for us to start today. So one of the first things she talks, go ahead.
No, I think the one thing I want to say, though, before you start with the things is that really is important for me to say is that what stories are we telling ourselves? Are we projecting? I think it's a good way to start. Are we projecting what the future is instead of kind of taking whatever happens and ebb and flowing with it? Or are we just telling ourselves that we're doomed? And then there's no option there. And so we cause, fear and anxiety, and, that affects our mood and it affects our day. So I think these 7 things are important, but mostly is what is our self-talk, I think is super important. Are we positive, or, what we can choose how we react to these things.
Yeah, absolutely. And what was the thing that I sent you this morning? Here's what I sent you. I said, fear of the unknown or irrational fear is caused by negative thinking, worry, which arises from anxiety accompanied by a subjective sense of apprehension or dread. So again, I mean, we talk so much about this. We talk so much about the thoughts in your head, that negative voice, and combating that negative voice with something positive, whether it's with a gratitude thought or just something that really understanding that fear or whatever that negative thing is, like just being kind to it, loving it, and trying to diminish that voice and then heighten the more positive voice, right? So that's where this fear comes from. It's from the negative thoughts. It's from the what ifs and the, oh my gosh. And it's really the acronym for fear that we've come up with and talked about before is focusing energy on alternate realities. So it's all the stories we tell ourselves, fear of what's going to happen in the future, whether it's things in our control or out of our control. There are plenty of things that we cannot control, like what happens on Inauguration Day. I don't know. And really, there's nothing I can do about it anyway. So why worry about it? All I can do is control my little home and my little circle. And even then, really, all I can control is me. So any thoughts on that before I dive into some of these
No,
suggestions?
I think it's great. I think what comes up for me also is, when you have like a bad prognosis from the doctor, they'll say, well, we don't really know what this is. And then they give you all these things that it could be. And you can
Mm.
either worry about all those things that it could be. And I only know this personally just from a recent doctor's appointment. And I thought, you know what? I'm not even going to give it any of those power. I'm just going to wait and see what the tests say. And you know what? It's a good thing I did that. It would have been a waste of my time. Thus far, I'm just fine.
Yep.
And you
Okay.
could worry about something. So
that goes into the first couple points. So in the essence of time, I'll give two at a time, and then we'll see. We can talk about whatever one we think
okay,
stands out.
perfect.
And then also, like, if anyone, whoever's watching out there, if any of these things jump out to you and you have something you want to comment on and be part of the conversation, I'm watching the chat, so feel free. So the first one that Catherine suggested is understanding your fear, and the second one was find the cause of your fear. So truly understanding where your fear is coming from. So let's just take the doctor's appointment. We'll just use that one as an example. You go to the doctor's, you get some possibility. It could be this or it could be that. And we'll know in a couple days after the test results. So understanding your fear and find the cause of your fear. So what would you say to either one of those? What stands out for you?
What stands out for me is to not project. What stands out to me is, you do have, it's once again, you have to understand that, yes, this is real, this is happening, but there's so many things in today's times, like question everything. That's the next one. But question, why are you so fearful, or why do you want to bring this in? Better to just, like I said, shelf it, pull down the visor in your car and say, you know what, this can just stay here till after, because until you really know, it's like anything else in life, until you really know.
So let's take the doctor's thing for example. So if you were to look at whatever your fear is and you were to say, where is this coming from? Like, what is this really rooted in? Maybe you had past experiences with a loved one and it was traumatic, like their visit to the doctor or their prognosis wasn't good, or you have some sort of, you've seen something. So the fear comes from somewhere. It's rooted in some truth from something in your past or that you've seen and that you think is going to also now happen to you. So that's, I think, really understanding like where your fears come from is super, super important. Then questioning your fear, like you said, which was the third step, which is really, I honestly think this is probably one of the most important things that we can do for ourselves. And this kind of ties into her last point of mindfulness. But when you really question your fear, like, where's this coming from? Is this real? Is this valid? Like, do I have substantial evidence that is not stories made up of what ifs? Is there evidence for me to put my time and energy into worrying about this thing? And what can you do about it anyway? So I think that's such an important step, is when you start to, that fear like grips you, just question it like, oh, hi, I see you. Why are you showing up today? Where are you coming from? Why are you here? And are you valid? I think those are like the three main points that you kind of talked about.
And I think too, even telling yourself when you're questioning, you can also give yourself positive affirmations saying, you know what, this is something that regardless if it's good or bad, we're going to take care of it and everything's going to be fine. And if it's not, I'm going to deal with it as it comes. I'm not giving you any more power.
I love that, Shelley. It's such a way to flip it and start using that negative voice in a positive way, and training that negative voice like, no, you don't get to win today. You don't get to win on this conversation, which goes to our fourth point, which is accept failure as an option. So it's like, you need to be able to say, this might end up being bad. Like, I might get news that I don't want to hear, or I might not get that job, or the inauguration might blah, blah, blah. But accepting failure as an option, and then thinking to yourself, like, all I can do, which is to her fifth point, is ride the wave of that. So, okay, if it comes back, what am I going to do? I'm just going to flow with it. I'm going to ride the wave. I'm going to take it one step at a time. I'm going to seek support. I'm going to not let this implode my world. I'm really going to take it a little bit at a time.
And I think it's also also, what if? Why not? We are where we all are in our country, especially. And what if
Mhm.
something good can come out of this? We can't think we're doomed for the next 4 years, or and I'm really not a person that I had space for if people like the president, don't like the president, or whatever. But we still are, as a whole, as a country. I just wish that we could just all stick together. And maybe I'm a little bit naive in that people are ever going to completely come together, but I would hope that that could happen, and that we're not doomed, regardless of who our president is or how things are going to happen as a whole in a group. That if everybody takes a step towards doing something proactive instead of just all of these
Mhm.
acts of violence and whatever, that's not going to get us anywhere. It really isn't. Where is it? People are losing
Right.
lives. So I don't want to get political, but the point is, we can learn from this. And I would hope that with the new president, we could look at this to say, okay, maybe something good will come with that's what my hopes are. Maybe something good will come from this, and we'll all learn something and look back at it and say,
I
well,
always
it
think
wasn't
that,
all bad.
Shelley. Yeah. Oh, I think I'm kind of losing you again, my dear friend Shelley. Am
Okay,
I
I think
losing? Are
I'm
you
here.
there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, we have terrible. It is so windy here in where we live today that I even got a call from the school saying, "We know many of you have power outages today, so if it looks a little weird or if we're a little discombobulated, it's just our area." And we are embracing the unknown. That is what it is, right? We're embracing change, and I think that regardless of what the future holds for us individually and us as a country, we need to just embrace the change. And we've done so many different podcasts on change. Y'all could go back and type in set to love and the word change or something to that effect, some synonym of change, because we've talked about it a lot. But really just being able to embrace what comes your way and knowing that you can only control you. And if you always choose the highest road, if you always choose love, and if you always are able to just really follow your heart, then no matter what happens, you're going to be okay because you've done the best
Yep.
you can with what you have available to you. So that's all we really need to do to embrace the unknown is just be true to ourselves, love the people around us, and only send good and positive thoughts and vibes out into the world. Like let's just pray and hope and send joy and love to all the leaders of the world, right? So like that way
Yes.
that's all. What else can I do about it? I'm not getting on the phone with anyone and saying, "Hey, I have an idea for a way to make schools better," or "I have an idea for this." That's not really a feasible thing yet. Maybe one day, but as long as there's just the unknown of I don't know what's going to happen, all I can do is control me and how I respond to the unknown, which goes to her last point, which is practicing mindfulness and really quieting those negative thoughts. What is one thing that you do, Shelley, to help quiet those negative thoughts? Do you have any tips?
I try to go, I mean, honestly, I do. I try to listen to something positive. I
So when
immediately
it comes
go for
in,
some kind of I have a calendar thing that it has like little paper, like tear outs for the day. And sometimes I'll just go to it's for a whole year. And
mhm,
sometimes I'll go to the very end of it so that I don't waste it. I can go back to it and I won't remember. But I try to just reframe my thoughts and think of
mhm,
things. And above all, I try to stay in gratitude. And I know
mhm,
that's a really hard thing to do, but
yeah,
I know one thing that pulls everything together in life is even at the worst of times, even when I'm not happy, I try to, when I was in a mood the other day about things that are really silly sometimes, I still feel like I'm grateful I have my body that's healthy at any weight or any whatever. And
mhm,
when you go into gratitude, it kind of stables you out in some way of saying, wow, it could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse.
right.
And so I just stay
Well,
grateful for my family,
I love
my
that tip. That's like one of the things we keep going back to also gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. You will hear us preaching, saying that over and over and over on several of our podcasts because it is so important. And when you really just do have so much fear and so much anxiety and it's really difficult to get past the unknown. It's so important that you seek help. And sometimes these tips are really good for the person who can kind of come in and out of fear, and they just need to be reminded or have their awareness put there. But if you're someone who just really, like, you've been there for far too long, and it has now become the lens with which you look through life with everything, it is time to seek help. And don't be so prideful that you're not willing to go out there and say, like, I need someone to help me understand where this fear is coming from. Find the cause of the fear, someone to help me question the fear, and someone to help me quiet the voice. I think that's really important that we're able to do that. And finally, I just want to also say, step into the unknown, embrace the unknown. I find it exhilarating and exciting to not know what tomorrow is going to bring. And I feel like I got this no matter what. Like, I can do this because I've been through hard things and I've made it out of hard things. And life is going to bring us challenges. And so when we just face it with, like, I know I can do it, whatever it comes, you're preparing yourself now for what might happen and giving yourself that positive talk now, it's going to help you down the road. Any final thoughts from you, my friend?
Yes, I actually found a really cool quote and I want to share it.
Okay.
By replacing fear of the unknown with curiosity, we open ourselves up to infinite stream of possibilities. We can let fear rule our lives, or we can become childlike with curiosity, pushing our boundaries, leaping out of our comfort zone, and accepting what life puts before us. Alan Watts. And I just think that's really positive, and I couldn't think of that. So when I was reading,
well, it is Alan Watts,
right?
He's very, very philosophical person, very deep thinking things.
Yes.
So, but I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that, Shelley. What a great episode today, everyone. You can find us at settolove.com and email setttolovepodcast@gmail.com weekday mornings. You know where to find us right here.
Hit
Thanks
the
for being
bell.
here today, everyone.
Hit the bell.
Have a great day, friend. I love you so much.
Have a good weekend. Love ya.
You too. Bye.